Welcome to Seminar 2023 training. So excited. We are starting off July. I am fresh back from Houston, our National Youth Gathering. So excited to be back from that in Texas. We are cooking. There is no other word for it. It takes a lot for me to say it's hot. Most of you know that I'm usually freezing, and I even think it's hot outside. So there you go. We've had triple digits today, record high of 110. So who says the world can't change? So as we're headed in, a couple things as StarCatchers, of course, our unit name. Those of you who are not familiar how we got our unit name, in the StarCatchers Facebook page, there is a prayer. It's the prayer of Sir Francis Drake. And that prayer was instrumental to me when I was in ministry, because one of the lines about in the third verse, it says, Lord, make me push away from the shore where I can see your mastery, where I have got to depend on seeing the stars and seeing you for what's going on instead of just what I can do. And that is where the StarCatchers name came from. It's the whole idea of seeing God in his heavenly realms and depending on his mastery, depending on his mystery for who we be, the miracles that he has made us. And then I loved it then when I started Mary Kay, because you had this majesty of this really cool prayer. And then it's a company that put God first, family second, career third, where it's like, okay, this is another way that we can, those of us who have a faith, we can now help share that faith in just a different venue. Being in a church, some people never want to touch their toes because of history, that they don't want to step their toes inside a church building, but they want to have community. And so I love it that this is a place where we can have community, where we get to help people love their beauty in the mirror. If you've ever wondered where the hashtag seeing beauty in the mirror come from, for me, that is just, Mary Kay has taught me to get my chin off my chest. In middle school, high school, high oil acne skin, heavier than I am now, and I'm old enough that you could be told that you were too fat to be a cheerleader. And so the whole self-esteem, I was listening to the tapes of what other people told of me and just not liking what I would see in the mirror. I didn't see myself as a pretty girl. I didn't even see myself really as worthy. I was always told she's got a great personality. So I truly believe I have a great personality. But it was almost kind of an insult, because you weren't cute, you weren't pretty, you weren't worth any of that stuff. But one of the things that I learned later on is that, you know what, when you take off the dirt, when you take off and you see what God makes you, it isn't about the color of your eyes. It isn't about the color of your hair. It isn't about, is your skin with perfect, poreless. It is the fact that you get to see God's image in what he made in you. And so that is the other reason that I love teaching people to wash their face, because it's like, hey, let's get the smudges off the eyes. Let's get the smudges off the glasses and let people see their beauty in the mirror. So there's your history of where we got our name, where we got our hashtag. And what are we? We are part of Mary Kay. Mary Kay, of course, is a skincare company that sells makeup. And so for me, one of the things as your coach, and one of the things that I learned as a consultant is we're a skincare company, and it's really hard to meet somebody that doesn't have skin. Okay, it's pretty easy, because I was one of them, to meet somebody who didn't want to wear makeup. So one of the advantages is that we are a skincare company. So we have something for everybody that has skin. And statistics, there are going to be a couple of times I'm going to throw some statistics out there to just kind of help keep the head kind of spinning. So what I found is, as I wanted to build my business, the fact that I was a skincare company that sold makeup, it made it easier who I could ask. If I was more comfortable asking the girl, great, I asked the girl. If I was more comfortable, making a joke with the guy that his face needed to be cleaned up for his favorite date, I could ask the guy, because they both had skin. But as a business owner, statistically, let's think about it. I can actually approach 100% of the people because they have skin. Where if I'm targeting people who wear makeup, let's think about that. About half the population, just male, female, half the population isn't going to be wearing makeup. And when we go to that, most women under the age of 12-ish, that general range somewhere in there, they're not wearing makeup. And I've seen a fair number of people in retirement communities or get to a stage that they retired and they be done with makeup. Now, there are some that they're going to the grave in makeup and they started when they were 2 and they're going to die with makeup. Okay, yep, they're great. But statistically, if you're targeting just makeup people, also know that there are people that's like, hey, I only wear makeup when I have to. So they're only going to be wearing makeup 1 to 2 days a week, sometimes 4. So what I loved is it being a skincare company, it's something that we're going to ask them to touch our products every day, twice a day, top of mind, top of mind. You think of the big advertising companies, Amazon, Coca-Cola, they spend lots of money so that every day you are hearing their names more than once because it becomes top of mind. One of the reasons that we have such beautiful packaging that has our name on it is so that people are touching our products multiple times and that we're becoming top of mind. So just to let you know, that is all just strategy. And it just makes, for me, it just made it easier because people have skin. The other thing is I don't know about you, but once I started using Mary Kay, my skin felt better. Do I get some thumbs up from some of the people on screen that your skin just feels better? I also love letting people just do the field test. And so that is one of the reasons that I'm also very excited to let people try. And it, to me, makes it easy to help us build our business. One, we're representing a skincare company. People have skin. 2, people can touch and feel the difference of what we're offering to them. When I was building my business, I will admit, when I first started, there was no chance under God's heavenly reign I was ever going to sell any of this stuff. Because 1, I didn't want to bother my friends. And 2, I felt like I didn't know enough. But my first customers were ones that actually approached me. Granted, I did give them 2.5 months. Okay. So if you want to start faster than 2.5 months, we may have to do something else. Okay. But I wasn't on products, started using products. And in that 2.5, that 10 weeks, people started asking me what was doing, if I was coloring my hair, what was I doing different? Because they just noticed that my skin was different. How I was presenting myself was different. But there's 2 reasons. 1, Mary Kay, my skin started improving. But guess what? When you start seeing something different in the mirror, guess whose chin started coming off her chest, knowing about her image. Okay, so that is something as well that we want to help people, give that one up self-confidence. One thing that Mary Kay Ash quoted was, the best dressed person in the room will get the most respect. Well, one of the easiest ways to be considered one of the best dressed people in the room is that you're okay. How many people with all the stuff going on with mental health right now, especially when they think of themselves, they don't think okay. So that is another reason that I love being in the skincare business. We could help, one more way to help bring up that self-confidence as well. So 1, do you use the product? When it comes to helping build your business, are you using product? Are you using more than just 2 items? Not that you can't do it by just using 2 items, but I will tell you, I have found the more items I'm using, the more it's like, oh, that looks good, girl. Yes. Like I said, I just came back from the National Youth Gathering, and it's kind of fun when you stand next to a classmate and you can look at the difference between your skin and their skin, because you guys are only 90 days in age difference. And you can see the difference between somebody who's using it all and somebody that's not using it all. So it's one of those things. It's like, oh, okay, guess it does work. So as I was saying, as I was building my business, I love using the product. That's the number one thing, because girls, mostly, I know most of us are in the unit are girls, so I'll just leave it at that. Girls, if we like something, we tell people, ooh, this pie is awesome. Ooh, look at this cute kitty. Okay. If we like something, we tell people. That is what we do. So we just say, hey, why do I like telling people about Mary Kay? Well, I like how my face feels. I like the fact that I'm getting less wrinkles. I think that's well worth sharing with anybody. So just as we're going through that, I want to quick show you some. So as we approach people, why is it important that we're telling people about what we're using? So I'm like, quick, go to screen share here. You should be seeing a purple sales statistic. Can I get a thumbs up? That's what you guys are seeing. Okay. In sales, 48% of salespeople never follow up with the prospect. That means somebody has expressed interest. Oh, Amy, you look really cute. Tell me about it. 48% of people, and so not quite half of the people never call that person back and follow up with them and answer their questions. Okay. 25% of people in sales never make the second contact. Okay. How many of you have had somebody try to reach out to you and you've had to play phone tag with them at least once? That you've missed their call and they've had to call you back, right? Am I getting a thumbs up that everybody had to do that? So what it's saying is people in sales, 25% of the people make 2 contacts, reach out to the person once, twice, and then stop reaching out to them again. 12% will stop after the 3rd time. And only 10% of the salespeople will make 3 or more reaches out to somebody to follow up with them. Okay. That's us as the sales force. Now let's hear on the receiving end, how many times they got to hear about us before they actually make this transition into purchasing. 2% of the people will buy the first time they hear about an item. 2%. 3% of sales are made after they've heard about it the second time. We're up to a whopping 5%. Okay. 5% of the sales are made at the 3rd time. You go back up here, we have now, we're at 12, only 12% do that. But only 5% of the sales are made at the 3rd contact. Does that make sense to everybody? 10%, in other words, a grand total of 20% of the sales are made by the 4th contact. And 80% of the sales are made somewhere between the 5th and the 12th contact. Now, are all these contacts made within 5 minutes of each other? No, absolutely not. That's called spamming, and people find it annoying. But when we're, one of the things that when I found to building my business, I just simply asked on occasions. Some of you have heard me tell this, how in my brain, I think of it like sorting laundry. You know, you have the whites, you have the reds, and then you have the fine washables. And in my life, those don't mix. Okay. Because if I mix my reds with my whites, then I have a lot of pink. Pink is a great color for Mary Kay, but maybe that isn't what I want all my colors to be. I kind of think some items should be white. Okay. So when I'm thinking about making contacts out to people, just like the other day, I had gotten some new names and numbers, so I put it on a piece of paper so I didn't lose it. My job is simply to sort these names into numbers into the 3 piles. Yes, you can reach out, and today I was making some phone calls and I found them. It's like, yeah, they're ready. I have them on my books. We're doing some parties on Thursday or next Tuesday. They're in my yes pile. We're going back and forth. We're working with the apps. They're ready to go. There is somebody that said, oh, yeah, I know I registered, but no, I'm not really interested. They went in my no pile. I am not going to call them again because they told me no. Okay. And then there was another group that they didn't respond. I called them, I left them a text message and I didn't get anything back. Do you hear my 3 piles? Okay. Yes, I'm definitely working with them. The no person, they don't get to play with all my fun samples. They don't get to play with me. They don't get to hear me. They don't get to hear great jokes. Their skin doesn't get to feel like this. That's their issue, not my issue. And this other pile of people that I reached out to, but I didn't hear back from them, I'm not making up stories of why they didn't respond. And what do I mean by not making up stories? By them not responding, I'm not making up the story that, oh my gosh, I'm bothering them. I'm not making up the story that, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's calling me. I'm making the statement is they didn't respond. Fact, they didn't respond. So personally, what I do is I do somewhere between 3 days and a week, depending on, some of it's my schedule. Some of it is just, I'll be honest, sometimes I start something and then I don't do it instantly right back. So if they haven't responded to me, then I'll reach out to them again and say, hey, I'll pick on Julie. Hey, Julie, this is Mary. I reached out to you a couple weeks ago because you gave me your name or number at the Lawn and Garden Show. Just letting you know that you were one of my winners and I have a great prize. Please give me a call or text back at your earliest convenience. If I don't hear back from you, so if I'm reaching back out, I say, if I don't hear from you in a couple days, I'll just reach out again. I know you're super busy. I want to let them know if they want me to stop calling, all they have to do is tell me to stop. And then they don't get to play with me. They don't get to have the fun samples. They don't get to learn all the things that I've learned about how to take care of your skin, like using your ring finger or rubbing in an outward direction or helping their throat stay looking. I don't have to share that information with them because they've told me no. Does that make sense? Okay, so, and if I hear from them, great, then I go back, get them on the books. If they say no, they go on the no pile. If I don't hear from them, I leave them in the I haven't heard from you pile. The reason I do that is, you know what? There were people that called me over the last 2 weeks. I haven't been home. I don't dislike them. I'm not interested in what they're offering me. I didn't have time to respond to them. Do you suppose I'm the only human in the universe that gets busy that for 2 weeks I couldn't respond? No. It's summertime right now, especially people might be traveling. People might be, in March, I was helping take care of a sick relative. Hello, I'm not going to respond to certain things if I'm in the middle of something else. So who knows? Sometimes I will tell you, if I want to go back to my home ministry, God first thing. Sometimes when they say, oh, Mary, I would love to, but, and then I hear the what, and yes, I hear about relatives. I go, is it okay if I pray with you right now? Then I literally pray with them on the phone if they have time. If not, I text a prayer to them. And then I make a note on the back of their card. So when I reach out to them in a couple of weeks, I'm asking first about my prayer request. And then I'm following up. Hey, if whatever the reason that we prayed is in a better spot, hey, is now a good time for us to have a chance for you to try the Mary Kay products? Okay, so for me personally, this is a vehicle where I love to share my faith. And to me, one of those things is easily praying with people. If that stresses you out, don't do it. But for me, that's one of those things like, hey, you're going to find out sometimes people are in distress. Let's share Jesus. Let's share God's love in that portion as well. Okay, So going through this whole statistic stuff that I showed, one of the tricks that they taught me, and when I was talking to Amy earlier, she said it was helpful to her too. So we're going because to me, it was really those things. Because yeses are fun, right? Yeses are fun. No's are annoying. Am I getting an amen that no's are annoying? So one of the games that I learned that my super senior director, so the director above my director, taught me when I was coming in is to track the no's. How many no's can you get? And if you get a yes in between, you get to go back to 0 on the no's. My goal was to see, depending on the day, what I was doing. The one time my goal was to simply get 10 no's. And when I got 10 no's, I was done for the day. I kept getting to like 5 or 6, and then I'd get a yes. And it was like, yes, no, yeah, great. Then I had to go back and keep going. So if you're like me and playing a game, absolutely. The last way that I love to teach some of this, that it makes sense. It's baseball season. Any other baseball or have at least watched baseball? Baseball is obviously a big league sport, and you get people getting paid lots of money to hit the ball. And at the major leagues, these are the guys that we watch on television, the guys that get multi-billion-dollar contracts. If they are considered superstars if they're batting 300. Well, I had to kind of learn what that meant, but it makes a whole lot of sense in my mind when I compare it to my Mary Kay business. Batting 300 means, breaking it down to the smallest common denominator, if the batter gets up 10 times, 3 times the batter is going to get on base safely. That means 7 times out of 10, they do not. 70% of the time, and if we wanted to go into, grading, how many times if you get a 70% wrong, you're still going to pass? I'm just saying, most teachers are not going to let you miss 70% of the answers and still get a passing grade. But in baseball, you can be considered an all-star. You can be considered a super player when you're 70% of the time, you're not getting on base. So in my mind, I go, well, if big league players can be getting great money because they're batting 300. If I am looking at making my phone calls, if I am looking at talking to people about the Mary Kay, about, hey, do you want to try Mary Kay? Understand about 70% of the people are going to say no. Do you want to know statistics when it comes to a party? Wedding planners will tell you that 70% of the invitations are turned down as well. For a wedding or a baby shower, 70%. You see, we're just in the party industry. 70%. Sometimes you get fair better than that. So I am hoping, is any of this helpful? Any of you guys that are off screen, since I promised you I'd keep you off screen, but I said you could also ask me questions. Any questions or ideas? Was this helpful as we're starting our businesses new for 2023? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Any questions for me? Nope. Okay. So the last thing I'm going to have us do before I end the recording, those of you, everybody needs a piece of paper and a pen. Run, grab some piece of paper and a pen. What I want you to do on your piece of paper, I simply, in the middle of your piece of paper somewhere, I don't care really what size it is, whatever works for you. In the middle of your paper, I want you to write down your goal or something that you would really like to happen, either in your Mary Kay business or in life or both. Okay, I just want you to write it down in the middle of your notebook. So like for me, one of our goals is I want us to finish Zoomy 2.0, I want us to finish our second Cadillac by September 30th. So it's in the middle of my notebook. And you know, that's we're going to require a lot of work for us to pull that off, but it's my goal. Okay. Then I want you to draw a box, a square around your goal. Okay. Can everybody draw a square around their goal? Okay. Then the last thing is I want you to do is I want you to draw a large circle. So the circle almost takes up the full size of your paper, but I want you to draw it around your box. Okay. Everybody follow those directions. So now I just want you to place your hand. You put your paper down and I want you to place your hand over your goal. And the reason I'm asking you to place your hand over your goal is that I want you to see and understand that that circle that's around the box, that's how much bigger God's ability is than your goal, or God's willingness to love you and to help you achieve. Okay. And I want you to put your hand on it because sometimes we just have to turn it over to God. And the other cool thing that I love about turning our goals over to God, this is one of two things that I ask when I look at my goals. God, either help me achieve them or help me release that not now. Because you see, either he's lifting me up to help me grow to the size of this goal, or he's helping me grow to see what else he has for me. But if I'm not in the garden, if I am not acting and not moving with him, can he help lift me to a new level? You think about the stories of the servants. There was a servant that was given 5 coins. There was a servant that was given 2 coins. And there was a servant that was given 1 coin. Only one of the 3 servants were not told, well done, good and faithful servant. Only one. It wasn't the 5 when he grew it to 5. Yes, well done, good job. The 2, well done, good and faithful servant. The second one wasn't chewed out that they didn't achieve the level of the first one because the person did with what he was given. The only one that God went, what are you doing? Is the one that buried the treasure and did nothing. So as you are looking at your goal, and you're seeing that God is more than big enough, his energy is more than powerful enough to help make it happen. The circle represents the more that God is willing and is able, but he is also willing to say, I am, or we're releasing it, that we're growing to what else he's giving to you. So I am hoping this first training tonight you found helpful. In the comments below, because we're going to be putting this in the Facebook group, make your takeaways down below. I think you guys are one of my peeps that I love giving away prizes. So yes, tonight's Monday. By Wednesday morning, I'm going to make a random drawing out of all the comments. Okay, so anybody who's making comments under the posting we'll just number them off, a random draw, someone's going to get a prize by you making comments. Does that sound like good to everybody? So even everybody online, you're going to have to go to the Facebook group and make your comments to make sure that you're in the drawing as well. So my hope is that these little 30-ish minute trainings are going to be helpful for you, because what I know is there's lots of people that we know that want their skin to feel better. And most people, they don't know what they don't know. And you know more than they do. and they want you to be in relationship with them. So let's see what we can do to, one, help people learn more about their skin, but two, it's not a bad idea if we accidentally on purpose make some money because somebody's making money. Why not be us? Because the skincare, anti-aging skincare business is now up to a 23 trillion with a T dollar business. We might as well take part of it, in my opinion. So I am very, very excited to be a part of you. Remember, put your comments below, and we will talk to you soon.